Hey, this is Eric from Sensory Dad, and this is.
Calliope the tuxedo ballerina.
So, she is the older sister of Leo. She's 18 months older than him, and I just wanted to do a little interview and ask her some questions about, what she feels about her brother, and what it's like to be the sibling of somebody with sensory processing disorder. So, basically, the first question is do you know what it is? Do you know what sensory processing disorder is?
Um, no, but I know that it bothers him when he wears socks.
Socks are a big issue.
Well, it used to. Well, he used to be bothered by wearing socks, but I don't think he really is much now.
So Leo initially, Callie just said about socks were an issue, shoes were an issue. We went initially from Crocs, um, and socks obviously always bothered him. It's the seams, and he went to Velcro shoes, and then eventually to tie shoes where he's at now. Most of it was the pressure from the shoes not being even. So if one side was tighter than the other, that would bother him. His feet are so sensitive, his body is so sensitive, the nerve endings, that if it's not exactly the same push on him, it bothers him and it bugs him to where he can't stand it.
I heard that like when you would tie his shoes, he's like, "This one isn't tight as the other one is."
Correct. So the one big thing with the socks that overcame that situation is I bought 30 pairs of socks, and we found some seamless socks. We didn't really stay with them because he was able to get the special socks. They're basically athletic Puma socks, and they have the elastic band around the arch support and up around the top of the foot, and they also have the typical elastic band around the ankle part of it. The seams are there, but the deep pressure feedback in two different areas is kind of a Jedi mind trick enough to help him overcome the seam part of it. To desensitize his feet, we'd also, about 20 minutes, maybe 3 times a week, we ran the TENS unit. You remember the TENS unit that I use for my back?
Yeah.
That has the shocking.
Sometimes I have to use it on my neck.
Right. So it helps with muscle, but also desensitizing different areas of the body. So we went that on the lowest setting for Leo, and that did work pretty well. Now, the next thing I would say is, other than the socks and the shoes, do you know of any other symptoms that have bothered him?
Um, he would have to sleep with the wrap.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't.
So, because he likes hugs, he likes hugs and he likes to snuggle. Do you remember when he used to butt his head into you or to us all the time?
Oh yeah, it would hurt.
So yeah, that's why we got him the headband. So all the things that we were doing, we didn't really explain to you a bunch of these things, but that headband pressing on his head all the way around gives him that relief to where he's not trying to smack his head off of things. So that's why we did that. And the wrap that mommy made and the weighted blankets that we use when we travel or when he sleeps is still that pushing and that squeezing. And like when you've seen him do meltdowns and we grab his shoulders or we'll rub his shoulders or give him a big hug, that's another way to calm his meltdowns down, because what he's craving is that deep pressure feedback, that squeeze of somebody helping, to relieve that. It's like a pressure that builds up on him is what he said to me about it.
I also noticed that when you're holding his hand, it has to be like too tight enough.
Yeah, he wants it extremely tight, and I can tell you, when I'm squeezing his hand when we're walking on a hike or in public, especially in public in large crowds, he'll want me to squeeze his hand because I think he gets a little anxiety being around a lot of people. And I squeeze, his hand relatively hard, and he always tells me to squeeze it harder, like to the point where my wife squeezed my hand when she was giving birth. So it's almost to the point of cutting off circulation that he wants you to squeeze. Obviously, I don't squeeze that hard. But are there any other things that have bothered you about dealing with the sensory stuff?
Yes, because like I think Luke doesn't want to play with him because of his sensory stuff sometimes. So he'll come up and bang on my door when I'm doing something, and I'll be like busy, and he'll throw a meltdown outside of my room like, "I want to play with you. If you don't let me play with you, I'm not going to leave. I'm just going to keep banging on your door." So that gets annoying. And then other times it's not actually that bad.
So it's gotten a lot better, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So now I like actually, sometimes I would think, I don't want to play with him because he's just going to tell me what to say and all this other stuff. But, like, I actually like playing with him.
That's cool. That's good, and it's taken a long time for us to get there. All three kids kind of went their own direction, or they went in the same direction and just smashed off of each other and fought nonstop. And now it's to the point where what we've realized as parents is two is perfect. Two will play together and be in a good mood and not fight. But the minute we get three into it, it starts to get a little crazy.
Because, like, two are equal, so they'll do this, but then, like, one is always left out because the other two, like, since I'm a girl, I'll be like, oh, how about let's play princesses or something like that. Like, no, I want to play knights or something else. And then I'll get angry, and they'll get angry, and then I'll leave, and then they'll get upset that I left, and all this other stuff.
So, have you ever, when Leo's having a meltdown, what could you do to help, or what could you do to not hurt him as much as it happens sometimes? Do you know what I mean by hurting him?
No.
So let's say you guys are having a knockdown, drag out argument over Mario Kart or whatever you're playing, or swimming and you want the same floaty toy.
Mm-hmm.
He argues with you, you argue with him, but you're able to come up with things quicker. You can have a rebuttal and make fun of him or argue with him very fast, and it takes him a little bit to come up with insults or
Ideas.
to try to make his point or an idea, right? Mm-hmm. So when that happens, you purposely keep going. And then it turns into a whole meltdown to where he'll leave the area and just give up, or he'll, which in the beginning he would hit you or, get physical.
Now he screams and runs away. That's better than actually leaving bruises and scrapes.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. We worked on not getting violent with Leo, and that's worked out pretty well.
I don't think he even does it anymore.
No, he does it. Yeah, he still he still does it to Luke, especially his little brother. I think the fact that you're in Tung Sudo now and can fight as well as he can, that stops him from getting into an altercation with you. So I think that's a big thing.
Like, sometimes when he gets in an argument with me and he'll, like, break one of my stuff, I grab him, throw him to the ground. He gets mad and he chases me around and tries to hit me. I remember he threw one of the Nintendo Switch controllers I bought, the green one, and now it, like, glitches now. So he threw it and I got so mad, I threw him to the ground. Then he started chasing me and I ran literally outside and he was, like, stomping, throwing Legos.
So here's a tough question. Does it bother you or do you get jealous because we have to focus on him more often and you don't get as much parent time?
Yes, it actually does. Because most of the time I have two brothers and they're both younger than me. So obviously they'll get the most attention because they're getting the most in trouble, and especially Leo with the sensory stuff. He'll get more attention.
So you think we need to do something more to spend more time with you? Just one-on-one time?
Sometime, yes.
Okay.
I want to.
Well, you need to make sure you keep telling us that.
Because I always ask you something, and Mom will be like, oh, I'm already doing this with him, and then by the time it's bedtime, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get to do this with Leo and Luke yet, so.
Well, I'm glad you said something, because that's something that we need to work on better as parents, and I promise you we'll spend more time together. I will do a better job of that. And I think the last question I had for you, for everybody out there that is dealing with the sibling thing and you can't figure out how to get them to talk. Communication's a big thing. Getting Leo to tell you what the problem is. A lot of the times he'll flip out and you don't understand what the problem is or anything like that.
Like, he'll start screaming and stomping away. I'm like, dude, what's your problem?
Right, and we don't know what his problem is until about a day later, and he'll tell us.
Yeah, he'll squeal and, like, tell you by squealing, because his voice is, like, squealing, and you can't understand him. What he's actually telling you just can't understand.
Is there anything else, or anything you would change about our situation here, or your brothers, if you could? Anything at all?
If I could, last night I was praying that Luke would actually get his work done for kindergarten. But, then, other than that, Leo, I would wish that he wouldn't throw meltdowns.
So we could fix the meltdowns.
And when he gets mad, not punch me in the face, especially now.
Yeah, so we're working on the violence.
Because the braces, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. And then he'll come up with, we made lightsabers. I don't know what they're made out of though. So like he'll come up and smack me sometimes with it. And I get very frustrated.
So is there anything else you would like to add to this discussion to let everybody out there know what it's like to have a brother that has sensory issues?
It is very tough at the beginning because, first off, we didn't know that he had sensory problems. And then, okay, I can't think of what I was going to say.
Kind of once we figured it out, we figured out how to fix some of them.
Yeah, and then it's like all you and Leo. Because, like, he would get his own one-on-one time with you and Mom, and while I would have to go do reading, and then it's bedtime.
Understood. Well, hey, I want to thank everybody for listening and subscribing to the channel and all the support we've gotten from, what we're doing. This is just some insight into what it feels like to be an older sister and to lose a lot of your special time with your parents dealing with this situation. We certainly didn't intend to do that, but it is a side effect, that you have to focus on, where the issues are. So thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you soon.